This event will launch the two films that were created based on research that were undertook with participants from two Change the Story projects, Ilizwi, Lenyaniso, Lomhlaba in South Africa, and Building Trust for Truth-Telling among former child soldiers through animation for inclusion and peace building in Colombia. The aims of this session will be to raise awareness of community issues through various arts-based approaches adapted dependent upon individual circumstances, to explore how the arts can be used for social advocacy, and to demonstrate how the importance of arts for education as well as entertainment. One thing I must mention is that this event will be recorded, and audience questions are always welcome and can be put in the chat box during the event. However, we have a specified time at the end for any questions that we're going to go through. So we will begin by showing a clip from a film by Ilizwi Lenyaniso and Lomhlaba in South Africa. Inez, can you do the honors?
Of course, 1 second.
If you want to be comfortable, then you must do something uncomfortable every day. So he basically said that before he became so comfortable and confident to talk in front of people and be confident with people, he basically every day did something that made him uncomfortable. One thing that I will never forget because I literally do that every day. I try and do something that makes me
not to speak, but to help others. Telling the stories, it's like, you know, our vision is like with the voice of the voiceless.
I really just want to bring awareness because there's a lot of issues that people just look at and they just say, whatever, it is what it is. But it's not what it is. We can make a change if we want to.
What you say, like we always, and it's just whether we, I guess, use it and how we use it and the platform that we have to use it on.
If you do start on the Changing the Story project, you are definitely gonna appreciate and gonna be grateful that you did that.
And I think that often it's so easy
Yeah. Okay. So
I think Junaid has just joined us as well. So welcome, Junaid.
That's great. So the first discussion is going to be with the South Africa team, and the panelists for that is Junaid, Tahn-Dee, Emilie, and Libi. If you can introduce yourselves, could you please do a quick introduction, each of you? Hello, Libi.
Yeah, hello. I'm Libby. I was part of this subsection of our research placement. I'm a liberal arts student. I'm in second year, majoring in history. And this was one of the most incredible experiences that I've ever done. And it's made me a better person because of it. And I've loved communicating with both Junaid and Tahn-Dee.
Thank you. Anyone else feel free to take the floor? I'd say, and the other liberal arts students, I'll just explain, it's Emilie, and the two other filmmakers are Junaid and Tahn-Dee from South Africa. Okay, so the first question is directed at the South Africa team and is, what do you feel is the message that you want to put forth about the film or your message?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tahn-Dee. So the message that I'm sure I would like to I'm sure Junaid would agree with this, is that young people should really step into their power, like, and create spaces to empower other young people. And not only that, that we should come together as young people, work together, because I've seen a lot of films last year on the Changing the Story, participants that was part of the Changing the Story program. And I've seen a lot of films that was very beautifully made. And I mean, I've never seen people work so well together. Young people work so well together. As the group that I was working with, they were amazing. I'm so proud of them, because I wouldn't be sitting here meeting other people, talking to you guys about our films. We really came together and we worked together and we did a great job. So really just young people to empower themselves, and not only in terms of education, but also self-confidence, and maybe to be comfortable with themselves, and also to own their identity and also find their roots.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So does anyone else have something to say about that question? The South Africa group?
I mean, just oh.
Yep.
I was just going to say, just to reiterate what Tahn-Dee said, I think for Libby, Emma and I, when we were creating these films, what really stood out to us was the power of voice. We were all really inspired by Junaid and Tahn-Dee, and how they'd used their voices and how the people in their community had used their voices. And I think that's definitely a message that we really wanted to get across, how important it is, regardless of the platform that we have to use it on, or how big or small we feel that our voices are. They always are important, and what we have to say is important. So yeah, I just really urge everyone to kind of speak out about what they feel passionate about, and really use your voices. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Could I ask a question to Junaid and Tahn-Dee?
Okay.
I really loved your film. The interviews were really amazing, and I know it meant an awful lot to the Leeds students that worked with you on it, because they told me, and you can see on their faces how important it was to meet you guys. Could I just ask, what was it like working with the Leeds students, and also to be, if I can be really specific, what was the weirdest thing about the Leeds students? What was the most surprising thing that you experienced in working with them?
Great question, Paul.
So that's for Tahn-Dee. That's for Tahn-Dee and Junaid.
Tahn-Dee, are you gonna answer this one?
No, you can go.
Okay. The weirdest thing for me was first I was a little bit shy. I was very shy because I told Emilie and Libi them that I don't pronounce word that proper, so I was a little bit shy of my English. Secondly, I was surprised also because they were so friendly. But the weirdest thing was to answer questions. I'm normally not the one that answers questions. I'm the one being in control of the camera. So me in front of the camera, that was the weirdest thing for me. I don't know what Tahn is gonna say, but that was the weirdest for me.
Okay, yeah, so definitely to be on camera, because I'm a very shy person. I'm never in films. I never want people to record me on film. So that was the weirdest thing, but I've learned from that. And we actually did a film 2 weeks or a week ago in Pretoria that I'm in. So that was great. And it was really nice working with you guys. You guys are so nice and friendly. And the questions were easy, and we were able to answer all of the questions. So yeah.
I wonder, could I ask the same question to the Leeds students? What did you guys find the strangest about the whole thing? What surprised you the most about your encounter with the Changing the Story guys?
I mean, I think for us, after every conversation that we had, we obviously consulted with each other. And we were so surprised at how friendly you both were and how open you were. And like, we were just kind of there and we were just in awe of both of you. Like every single chat after we had spoken to you, we just felt very comfortable around you. And we really appreciated how honest and open and just down to earth you were. And I think it really did come across in every aspect of the conversation, everything that you said, because all you can hear in your voice is care and compassion, and it's incredible.
Yeah, I think I didn't expect to get as much out of the experience as we did. Kind of when we started it back in September, we had no idea of the impact that it was going to have. And I just feel so honored to have even be able to have spoken with both Tahn-Dee and Junaid and actually like build a relationship with them. And we really wanted that to kind of come across in the film as well, how kind of, yeah, how much of a relationship we had built. I felt like, you know, we were quite comfortable asking Junaid and Tahn-Dee questions, and I felt they were quite open to ask us questions as well. And as Libby said at the beginning, it has just had such a massive impact on us. And I just feel so honored and grateful to have been able to have this experience.
Okay, that's great. Great to hear from all of you. Okay, so the next question is, how has the arts impacted the way your message is relayed to your audience? And that's directed at Tahn-Dee and Junaid. Let's start with them.
Can you ask that question again?
Yeah, of course. How has the arts impacted the way your message is relayed to your audience? So the way your arts, so through filmmaking, how has it impacted your audience and the way you relay your message?
Okay, so before filmmaking, before we started on the Changing the Story project, so there was different ways that we would communicate or trying to get a message across to people. So there was social media, obviously, and maybe when we come together and have meetings and things like that with people. Well, I'm gonna say it has changed a lot. People now are more interested. People listen now. People look at the videos, and it feels amazing that even though I know I don't have a voice to like talk, when I talk to people, like they won't listen to me, but just for them watching the films and the videos and now being able to take that to heart and see, oh my God, but then we can make a change and we can try do something about this. Because before that, people really didn't care about anything. But yeah, so definitely the filmmaking and the fact that the videos are very short and it's easy to share the videos on social media or get people to interact and maybe go watch our video. So people now get the opportunity to sit at home and not go out and watch the videos, and then also get a chance to interact with us as well.
Okay. Junaid, do you have anything else to add to Tahn-Dee's answer? I think you're muted. I think you have to unmute your camera. Oh, yeah.
I was about to say exactly what Tahn-Dee said now. I was about to say exactly what Tahn-Dee said. I think she covered the whole, she covered the answer. Okay.
That's great. The liberal arts students, do you have anything else to add? Should I move on to the next question? No? Okay. The next question, what was the filming process of the movie like, and were there any challenges?
Sorry, can you ask that again? I'm so sorry.
What was the process of the film like, and did you have any challenges along the way making the film?
What was the filming process?
Like,
is this with Libby and Emilie, or is it our films?
I think for both would be good.
Okay, so the film process with Libby and Emilie was, I feel like we only participated in the interviews, and that was easy because you guys made it easy for us. You guys sent us all of the questions before the interviews. So we had opportunity and chance to prepare ourselves for the interviews. So that was easy. The films that we did ourselves, oh, that was a little bit complicated because we really had a short time to learn all of the editing and everything that we need to do while we are busy with the project. So when we started doing, and because we were so many, we were like 12 participants. And when we started doing the interviews and the filming, it took a very long time for us to finish. But I feel like me and Junaid now, we work very well together, and we do plan out things before we start doing things now.
That's great. Libby and Emilie, do you have anything else to add to that? Junaid?
I mean, obviously doing the project during a global pandemic had a lot of challenges, mostly with technology. Obviously it's quite difficult because when Emma, Libby and I were creating the films and editing, we're all doing it in 3 different locations, whereas ideally it would have saved a lot of time and probably a lot of stress if we could have all done them together, especially because we'd never edited before. So that was a challenge in itself, and then really having to rely on Zoom, Microsoft Teams and things like that. So I feel like, you know, we've really improved our technology skills for sure during the process. But yeah, it was a really enjoyable process. I think definitely having the conversations with Junaid and Tahn-Dee were a real highlight. And then also just seeing the film finally created, because we've been working on this for almost a year now. So it's really nice to have the end product and something that we're really proud of. Yeah.
That's good. Libby, do you have anything else to add? Junaid, should I move on to the next question?
I would like to reiterate kind of what Emilie said. There were a couple of technological difficulties, but I'm relatively impressed with how we've handled the situation. And I just think when it came to filming, I do agree with what Tahn-Dee said about kind of you have to learn everything from scratch, but it's all through trial and error. So sometimes it can actually be really demoralizing because you're looking at something and you know it doesn't look right, but because you have no experience, you're just working from that. But we were really fortunate to have Paul Cook, and also Junaid even offered some advice or was always very open to helping us because he's really good at editing, and that was really helpful. So I think it was the fact that we had quite a lot of support, which just made the process a lot easier.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yep.
I was just wondering, how did you, obviously you guys have had a lot of conversation and many hours of interacting with each other. How did you decide what made the final product, and kind of how was that process in deciding what bits you wanted to show and kind of what were the key things that you wanted to show?
That was a really difficult process because by the time that we'd finished all the conversations, we had about 3 hours worth of footage that we then had to fit into a 10-minute film, and everything that, you know, featured in those conversations we all thought was so valuable. So it took probably, I don't know, 5 different kind of cut downs of what we had, and we really had to be quite brutal with it and think, right, has this been repeated at some point? And then we had to find a narrative, and I think that really helped, because if something kind of didn't fit in with the main theme that we wanted to get across, then we just had to cut it. But there is still so much content that I think is so valuable, and it was really hard to kind of let that go, because yeah, I still do think that that also needs to be heard. But yeah, it was a very difficult process.
Okay. Okay. The next question is, how has your message changed, or has your message changed in any way from when the film was made? Would you say? And that's open to the floor. So Tahn-Dee, Junaid, Emilie, if we can answer.
Okay, let me answer. The question was, I'm so sorry.
No, perfectly fine. Has your message changed in any way from when the film was made, would you say?
Okay, no, I wouldn't say that our message has changed, but we do bring different concerns that we film. Like me and Junaid, we started with fracking, even like when we started doing the interviews and the videos for IL, we obviously started with fracking, and then that shifted when people didn't know much on fracking, and they started talking about access to land and land rights, and also the struggles that they are going through in their daily lives. So we do focus on everything that people around our communities want to talk about. And also, because we're working with Support Center for Land Change, we also document their events, and when they go out work in the formal settlements and with the upcoming farmers, we also document their work. But I wouldn't say that our message has changed. Our message is still the same. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yep, Junaid.
Just to add something, and me and Tahn-Dee is the message didn't change yet because we're still focusing on the fracking thing. But we wanna have a variety of videos because like I said in my bio, as we are trying to be the voice of the voiceless. So we're focusing now on the way people live and the struggles they have and the daily challenges they face, stuff that everyone is going through, but are just scared to talk about. So I'm focusing on that. But before we want to do that, we want to first do our homework on it before we're gonna change our message. But so far we didn't change our message yet.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah, perfect. Ask question.
What is your main message then about fracking? Like what do you want people to know? Like if they were to take anything from what you're trying to convey?
My message will be fracking isn't what they say it is. Like they come to us and say it's a way to create jobs and it's this and there's that, but at the end of the day it's none of the above. So we want to just open people's eyes and tell them like fracking is gonna pollute our water. Fracking is gonna how can I say, it's gonna fracking is gonna kill some of our plants because we have a diversity of plants here. Like we have the fat plant here, and it's one of the Karoo's gold. I call it one of the Karoo's gold because you only find the plant here in the Karoo. So it's gonna how can I say it, man? It's gonna kill our plants and stuff like that. So they mustn't just look at it's gonna create jobs. For how long is it gonna create jobs? What's the consequences of it? Say fracking is over. What is gonna happen to the person that got the job from the fracking? Because we don't know how long the fracking is gonna be. Say it's for 6 months. It can be for 6 months, but after that 6 months, what is gonna happen? Are you gonna get the job at the other fracking place, or what is going to happen? So we just want to put that message into people. They must look at all the factors before we say yes to fracking or never say yes to fracking.
Okay. Tahn-Dee, do you have anything else to add? Or should we move on to the next group? Anyone else?
Sorry, just one thing. There was one part that unfortunately didn't make it into the final video, but I think is really significant, especially in relation to what Junaid just said. And it's the fact that a large part of the material, at least what I found from their YouTube channel, is about providing information, providing an understanding of really what the definition is and the effects it has environmentally, but also socially. And so it's the fact that often people will be asked the question, what is your opinion of fracking? But because they don't actually know the definition, it results in just kind of the government being able to do whatever they please or to create the narrative that suits them. And so the way both Tahn-Dee and Junaid's films, but also our conversations explained to me, was the fact that it's not about deciding this is what we want you to think about this. This is what we want you to think about our community. This is the information that a lot of you don't have access to. We want to share it with you. And then from that, you can make your informed opinion, your informed decision on whether or not you support fracking or not.
Okay, thank you, Libby, for that. Thank you everyone for your submissions and your films and everything. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I think we're ready for the next group, which is the Colombia films, and it will be with Angel and Megan. Those are the two main panelists for that group. And yeah, could you introduce yourselves, Megan, Angel?
Would you like me to show the film first, Jackie? Or yeah, I'll put that on now.
Well done, everyone. Amazing.
That was brilliant. Oops.
Porque ¿qué pasa? Muchos medios de comunicación hacen de la víctima un producto de mercado y de consumo. Esa misma imagen que debería tener como una importancia sumamente grande, como que pierde esa capacidad de interpelar al espectador por el hecho de que se ha visto muchas veces. Por lo menos para mí es bastante problemático, porque ejerce una violencia sobre las víctimas de nuevo. Yo creo que una de las cosas siempre es estar abierto o abierta a escuchar a la otra persona.
El tipo de imágenes que yo quería usar para intentar no caer en esos lugares cómodos o algún lugar que terminara por invisibilizar lo que nosotros estábamos tratando de hacer visible. Mi familia estuvo como directamente afectada por el conflicto en mi país y digamos que por eso, de una u otra manera, como que una parte personal, sentimental, emocional mía estaba muy conectada con los relatos.
Sometimes animation can be a really good means to tell these stories, and even though it is really overwhelming, it is necessary for everyone to see this and to listen, or more to listen. Yes.
Ellos tienen.
Okay, we'll take the first group off the screen and then we'll add you back in at the end so we can get the next group up. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
I think you need...
Hello? Inez,
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, hello everyone. Thank you for this meeting. I think this is a really valuable space to talk. And first of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation. Well, my name is Angel. I have 23 years old. I just recently graduated from visual arts in the Pontificia Universidad Javeriana in Bogotá, Colombia. And yes, I'm really happy to be here.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan. I'm from the University of Leeds and I'm in my second year studying liberal arts with politics major. And yeah, as the other group said, it's been like a really good opportunity and a great experience to work with the Changing the Story project this year.
Okay, thank you. The first question is for both of you, but mainly Tahn-Dee, is what do you feel is the message that you want to put forth about the film?
Well, we were invited to participate in the making of this film, and it was a big project because it meant sort of building peace in Colombia by making these animated films. So the message, I think, is just to build or start building trust to tell these stories that have never been heard and most of the times have been excluded or hidden from the public. Colombia has been at war for over 50 years, and these are the stories of the ex-combatants that have survived or have wanted to change their lives by telling these stories.
I would say as sort of a wider message from both the Colombia and South Africa projects as well that we created. We wanted to show like art in general and the importance of arts, like particularly for a UK audience, and with like for example the COVID situation, like the industry which has been hit the hardest, or one of them are the arts, and whenever there's sort of budget cuts, that often goes to the arts. So we wanted to show just how important they can be, not just for the entertainment purposes, but also educational and unearthing truths and helping encourage change.
Okay, thank you. The second question is, how has the arts impacted the way a message is relayed to your audience? So through animation, how has it changed your message or made it better?
Well, animation can be a really interesting means and medium to create pieces that get to the public in a different way than normal documentary or fictional films. I think animation is a very powerful way and appropriate way to talk about reality and the problems that afflicts us as a society. In this case, just one truth is all it takes to open our eyes and see the bigger picture. So by making visible the reality of the forced recruitment, well, we can tell these stories by trying to pursue a different approach in the technical making of these animations. I'm sorry for but yes, yes.
Megan, do you have anything to add? What do you think is the importance of user animation?
No, I agree. I think like definitely with the Colombia project telling such hard stories, animation has made it a lot more accessible and a lot more understandable for a lot of people.
Okay, thank you for that. The next question is, what was the filming process like, and were there any challenges that were faced making this animation, would you say?
There were plenty. there were so many because, well, pandemic, as you all know it, and we all have lived it. But I think the raw nature of these stories and sometimes overwhelming is something that we sort of tried and struggled to deal with during the process, because these were very specific stories. They were things that were assassinations, kidnapping, raping. So trying to convey these things into sort of in a sort of digestible thing is not easy, and obviously the the authors of the stories were not always open to talk about their own stories. They just sort of gave their testimony, and they remained anonymous. So I had the opportunity to talk with one of the authors, and that was really great because I had the opportunity to listen to him and sort of create collectively. I really liked to involve him in the process, and he invited me to his house, and he told me some things that they were not in the written text that we were given. So the courage of them by sharing this is invaluable, and I think they show us the reality that not only are they trying to start a new life, but it's really difficult because society doesn't like to accept them. So it's also the two sides of the story are just to first listen and then to start building a new society. Yes.
Thank you. Megan?
I think on our side, kind of similar to what Emilie said earlier, but we had so much footage and so much content, and there was a lot more messages and a lot more like the things that the group said when we spoke to them, like they were really powerful, and both Victoria and I, who worked on the film, agreed that they were really powerful messages and really important. So trying to condense all that into a 10-minute film and sort of do everybody, like allow everyone's messages to be heard, that was definitely quite a challenge.
Thank you for that. The next question is, has your message changed in any way from when the film was made?
So you're talking about the film we made, or Megan's film with all of us?
Yeah, both projects, yeah.
Okay, so I would like to mention some, Junaid said something in their video that changing the story sort of changed his life. And I would like to say the same. I think a seed of change has been sown, and the public has received these stories with an open heart, and not only by the ex-combatants, but thousands of people. So I feel it's just like a butterfly effect that we hope it will bring positive changes to the country. And I would like to add something as well, that normally the big corporations have historically had the privilege to tell these stories, but the fact that these times we were invited, the students were involved in this, was an essential part of crafting sort of this honest and impactful story. We are not mediated by hegemonic interest. The narrative is very different. So, yeah.
I think from the film that we made together, we went into it with some aims and ideas of what we wanted to get out of it. But then when the film was made completely, I suppose it is really nice to see the messages from the young people and the narratives that the Colombian group have told, being able to be like put in from their point of view, and again, like not from like a big corporation side, like it's very raw and it's very real, and yeah, being able to share that with us, and then being able to make that into our own films that hopefully, if anyone over in the UK watches it and they become like aware of like these hidden realities, I think that's definitely something really important about these films.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I'd say this question is open to the group of panelists from both groups, so feel free to join in. How have or will you continue to promote your message after the project is over or in your daily life, and do you feel like it's important to do so? To promote the message that you're putting across in your films?
I think it's really important for us to continue spreading awareness. I think definitely during this process, it's become really evident to us the extent of our privilege, even just growing up in a country like England. And I think it's our job to continue spreading awareness and to provide platforms for people, because I think everyone, as I said earlier, has such important things to say and so many important messages. And I think, as we've seen from both films, it's about providing those people with a platform and providing people with education on those issues that so many people are facing around the world. And I think, you know, what's really amazing about the two films produced and what is relevant to so many other Changing the Story projects across the world is that there are so many different issues that people are facing and are experiencing. And I think it's just so beautiful that people are finding arts-based methods are a way of raising awareness and also a way of channeling their experiences. So yeah, I think it's really important to continue spreading that message and spreading awareness.
Thank you.
I agree fully with what Emilie says. It's like we can't stop now. We need to get the message out here, because we can take it as films or videos, but this is a whole library. We're creating a whole library here for people to see, like all the information that they see here. You see how people think, how they feel. It's a whole library, so we can't stop here. We need to get the message to people. And believe me, there's people that got the message, they shocked now, and the stuff they didn't know about. So some of the stories did change some of the perspectives. So I think we need to push more and push more to get the word out there.
Thank you. Thank you, frozen for a second. Does anyone else have anything else to add?
I was just going to say, like, I agree with obviously what Emilie said, but I think, as I mentioned in Colombia film, like in the news and mainstream media that you hear in the UK, obviously it's quite, you know, you can't include every single thing that happens around the world, or it's often quite selective. So I think with an organisation such as Changing the Story and continuing, like, for people to make to use art to portray these messages and share that is just another way of raising awareness and alerting people to what's happening outside the country, and particularly with the South Africa project, which focuses on fracking. That's obviously an issue which fracking as a whole is also quite controversial in a lot of places. So being able to see the effects that that has around the world and consequences of that is really important.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything to say to that question? Emilie?
I was just going to say, I think what has been mentioned about all, like, trying to raise awareness is so true. But I think a massive part that I think anyone should really take away from both these films is to find value in your own voice. So it's not just about helping other people, it's about appreciating what you think and feeling confident to share what you think and to express yourself. Because making these films or contributing or speaking about them, it requires a lot of bravery, because you have to be so honest about your opinion and you have to be so upfront with everything that you think. And you're going to be met with challenges by people who either don't know what you're speaking about or with people that simply disagree with you. So not only is it really important to raise awareness, but it's really important to find the confidence in yourself to speak what you think, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I would like to add something as well.
Yep.
I would like to bring something that Jeanette said in their film as well, that the way these films were made is like the key to how we can approach these topics, because Jeanette said this is a very competitive space. Filmmaking is widely popular in so many places, but I think the fact that we students, people that are in the communities, they are the ones that hold the key to making changes, because they are close to the reality and they can sort of make a change by telling the truths that they carry.
Yep. Is there anything else anyone else would like to add? Okay, so I have a couple of questions directed at individual groups. I'd say, how has the project helped unify the team that you work with? So this is for the South Africa team, South Africa group, would you say?
I would say that because every film requires so much attention to detail and so many different skills, I think something that definitely helped unify us was the fact that we had to depend on one another, whether it was through kind of organizing ourselves and kind of identifying our strengths and weaknesses and kind of basing it off that, but it was having the trust to depend on each other and kind of just working from there and being open about whether or not, you know, we needed additional help with something, and then kind of basing our relationships on that. And I think that's one of the reasons we managed to get so far within this project, was the fact that we were able to be honest with each other.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're muted. Yeah. No. Oh. No. I think, can someone else jump in just in case, so he can have time to fix his mic?
Could you repeat the question, please? Sorry.
Yeah, so how has the project helped unify the team that you work with? So in terms of working with others, how do you think the project has helped you do that? Working with new people as well.
Okay, yeah, I agree with what Libby said. We're all very, creating the films, we're all very like honest with each other and open with each other. And we were all very like appreciative and respectful of that everybody sort of was living their own lives, and of course we're all going through the pandemic and everything. And then I think definitely with Victoria and I speaking to Angel and the rest of the team, yeah, it was great to be able to communicate with them, and like I think like me and Angel have worked quite closely, and he's always offering to like to help like sending footage of things and sending videos over. So yeah, it's definitely been really great and a big help working with everyone.
Okay, thank you. If anyone else has any questions, this is the right time to ask questions, audience questions. No?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
So this is to the University of Leeds students. So we obviously kind of presented you with this idea of creating a film, and you applied to this project. How do you feel about the kind of value of creating films now? And is it something that you'd want to continue to do in the future, and why or why not?
I think it's very important because it definitely has a lot of value to it, because I think film is something that, as we've proved, you know, it's accessible to a lot of people, and once you like create the film and you have the link, you know, you can share it all over the internet. And I think the good thing about film is that you have, as we all did, have these extremely long conversations, but then hopefully we condense the most important parts into something very like viewer friendly and quite short and hopefully entertaining, and hopefully it's something that people have enjoyed but have also been able to take a lot from as well. So I do think it's like it's a very powerful tool to use to spread messages, and I would like to carry on.
Okay. If there aren't any other respondents, Scott had a question. So
well, yes, thank you so much. I was just interested in hearing both from Colombia and from South Africa. We've focused a lot on how great the cooperation was, and that's really good. But Tahn-Dee said something in the film which was interesting about the way she was treated as a woman, where people didn't listen to her, they spoke over her. And I just wondered, between Colombia, South Africa, you know, when actually working together with other filmmakers and working together with the people that you're making films about can actually be quite hard.
Tahn-Dee.
Sorry, Scott, can you please repeat the question?
I'm just following up on something you said in your film, Tahn-Dee, and I wondered, you know, you were talking about as a woman filmmaker, as being a woman producer, how people would talk over you when you were in production meetings, how when you know, maybe Junaid would say something that was exactly what you were saying, everyone would agree with him, but you know, you would face opposition. And that was something I think that's also good to think about in the way these films came to being, is the way that you negotiated the really, really sometimes problematic gender relations. And I was interested in hearing from South Africa, but also from Colombia about whether some of that stuff came up.
Okay, Scott. So, well, with the previous group that I've obviously worked with, that was all 12 of us. So we did struggle with the gender inequality, and obviously the males always want to take the lead, and females just have to listen to them and do whatever they have to do. And when females do take the lead, they would not listen. There was one time where this guy was just putting his earphones in while I was talking, and it was very disrespectful. But now, working with Junaid only, I don't have such problems. Junaid really does treat me equally. If I'm gonna do this, he's gonna do this. He's willing to teach me how to edit. I'm willing to teach him how to do all of the admin work and all that, and the writing and stuff like that. So now I'm not dealing with that, making the films. It's way easier now. But I do want to say that I really do miss the whole group that I started working with, because they really have challenged me. They've taught me a lot. They've opened my eyes and my heart to different things, and to see things in a different way. And also I can say to start standing up for myself, because I was a very shy person. I never wanted to stand up for myself, never wanted to talk about things like that. So when people did all of that, I would just be okay with it. But they've really pushed me to really stand up for myself. So, yeah.
Yes, that's great. Angel, do you have anything else to say to that in terms of gender? We have like 1 minute left, so.
Yes, I think cooperation is key, and we also learned how to communicate through through media like Zoom and Teams and WhatsApp. But I think the women in this particular case, my professor is a woman, and she is and honestly, she's amazing, and she has taught us a lot about communicating through the images by just seeing what everyone makes. So you work with dirt or with collected pieces of trash that you found on the streets, and every material has its own way of conveying a message. So I think we sort of try to continue the conversation with animation in by this way. I think animation is just another form of conversation. So yes, I think yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. In terms of gender, Scott, we have the final event which focuses around gender. So if there's anything else that you would like to find out more about gender and social advocacy, it's on the 21st of July. So, but it's earlier from 1 to 2. So you can always join that one as well. And if there's anything else each panelist wants to add, feel free to do that now because it's at the end of the event. New projects you want to promote? No? Okay. Well, yeah, Junaid? Oh no. You can put it in the chat box and we could send it to people or you could email it to us at the end. It's always possible.
Can I just say very quickly, hi everyone, I'm Ines. I'm Changing the Stories project manager. I just wanted to say thanks so much to all the panelists. That was really fascinating. And also a big thank you to Jacqueline for doing such an amazing job on this first event in the series. Do check out the next two that are coming up. Yeah, thank you everyone.
Yep, thank you everyone. All right, that's the end. Thank you. See you at the next event.
See you at the next event, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well done, everyone. Thank
It was a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.